right, ladies and gentlemen, it's episode 393 of the MailRight podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Threads, which is Meta's new competitor to Twitter. At least that's my understanding of it. Before we get into our discussion about this new social media tool, John, who is the founder of three podcasts, WP Tonic, the MailRight Show, and a new one for his learning systems business, or learning. Anyway, you know what, John? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rob. I do three podcasts on crazy folks. Do the MailRight Show, the WP Tonic, and the Membership Machine Show. And I'm really pumped up. We're going to be talking about Threads. That's had huge success. I think it's going to be going to make a real difference in the real estate business. And we're also going to be talking about Instagram, about some of the key things you've got to know about Instagram. Because of Threads, I think it also increases the effectiveness of Instagram as well. Back over to you, Rob.
All right. So full transparency, even though I am familiar with all these tools, I've never really used Twitter as a major microblogging platform. I've never used. I have a Twitter profile. I have a few thousand people that follow me on it. To be honest, they've kind of magically appeared, like in my opinion. I mean, I tweet stuff and I throw a hashtag or two on it, and I've just been doing it a long enough period of time that people found me there, follow me, and I feel like they find me in other places and then they follow me on Twitter. But since I'm not having substantial conversations that are unique on there, I don't feel like I have very much value attached to it. Having said all that, John, I guess my question to you, and I say this with a deep amount of sincerity, is what do you think? How do you think people are going to be leveraging Threads? I saw the numbers just like you. 100 million people signed up. Like, I get it. A lot of people are joining it. Where do you see it going?
Well, I honestly feel I use Twitter a lot more, but for my other businesses, I have not focused on it when it comes to MailRight, because I totally agree with you. But I just feel unless you're selling to the millenniums or maybe a little bit of Gen X, I'm on the last year. I mean, my birthday puts me in between Gen X and the baby boomers. But unless you're really into Gen X or the millennials in an urban area, as a real estate agent, I wouldn't recommend that you spend too much time on Twitter. And the reasons for that, Rob, is the culture of Twitter. Now, the reason why I use it for my other business is that I do a podcast in the WordPress space, and we both utilize WordPress for our businesses that are focused at the real estate industry, for your great business and for MailRight. It's a leading tool in our arsenal. But in my other business, which is really focused at membership and learning management systems and at the WordPress professional crowd, Twitter is utilized a lot. My WP Tonic has about 1,000, but my personal account has slightly under 7,000 followers. Not enormous, but not unsubstantial. And I do a fair bit on and off during the week on Twitter for those businesses, Rob. Now, the problem with real estate is the strength of Twitter is also its problem when it comes to real estate is it's in the culture wars. It's in that in some ways have been accelerated by social media in this country and not only in this country, in other countries. And when it comes to real estate and being a real estate professional, that's the last thing you want to get involved with. You know, unless you're going to make the conscious decision that you're going to appeal to a certain type. I know a couple of agents in Northern Nevada that have made that choice. They are highly political individuals. And I know a couple of agents in Las Vegas that have made that decision, and they are highly politicized. They put on their Facebook, on their Twitter, highly political content of a certain viewpoint. And they've made that decision, Robert. And I think they've done it because they believe it. And also it helps them with their marketing and the people that they're trying to appeal to, right?
Right.
But in general, it's the last thing that I would encourage a real estate agent to go on Twitter, because of the baggage that the platform, and that baggage under Elon Musk, even if you love him or hate him, and in public, Reno and Northern Nevada, which is where I roughly live close to, has become a Tesla town. It is dominated. Tesla has one of its mega factories on the north side of Reno, and must employ directly about between 5,000 and 10,000 people, and indirectly 30 to 50,000. It's become one of the major. So the last thing you want to do is criticize Elon Musk or Tesla in Reno, right? It's not a great idea, but he is extremely controversial, and he's brought that to Twitter. Twitter was already controversial, and he's just increased it. He's just put it on steroids. If you love him or hate him, you got to admit that. And also, he's made certain decisions, like the day before Fred's was announced, and he must have been aware that it was coming. I think it was one of the reasons why he tried to get out of buying Twitter, because I'm sure he knew he had been tipped off that Meta was building Threads, and I think that was one of the factors. I don't know, I'm just surmising that.
Sure.
But the day before Threads was announced, he, unless you got a verified blue account with Twitter, he reduced the amount of tweets that you can read to 600. There is no limit if you got a blue tick account, which on the two Twitter accounts that I have, I decided to buy that because I wanted to upload video, because we're both big into video, and I wanted to upload video to Twitter, right?
Right.
So he did that at the same, and also he reduced dramatically the power and outreach of the API. That made him very unpopular, and there's just been a load of things that he's done since him and his executive team took over Twitter that have really upset some of the biggest influencers that utilize Twitter, right?
Right.
And we've had Threads come on the market. It's been around for. It has been the biggest app in take up ever seen. It's up to almost 100 million people now. Obviously, that's because it's linked to Instagram, and Instagram had a big audience. And if you've got an Instagram, it's really very easy to set up a Twitter account. You've got to have, not Twitter, Threads account, and you've got to have an Instagram account to set up a Threads account. And what it comes with, I have my own doubts about Facebook myself. I totally agree with you. I am not a great admirer of the founder, and I'm not a big admirer of some of the executive team at Meta. But this is going to be a winner, in my opinion, and they're going to make they're making pretty sure the toxic element that's always been there with Twitter, the kind of engagement, discussion, it is a bit of a sewer. It always has been. It is not for the light-hearted. And they're making sure to the best of their ability that the toxicity that always has been a part of the Twitter culture doesn't come across with threads. Now, you would agree, I would imagine, that the key thing about being a real estate agent, online or in person, is to have conversations, is to have discussions with, to have engagement with people that might be thinking of selling or buying or doing some property transaction. That is the whole point, isn't it? Well, threads, that element was missing a bit from Instagram. That bit to have a conversation. That is going to be highly encouraged by the combination of Instagram and threads, in my opinion. What's your comments, Rob? That was a bit of a binge, wasn't it, Rob?
So I have a few people that I follow on Twitter. The couple of people that I follow on Twitter, I really enjoy. They all, every single one to a person, are what one might call mega influencers or famous people. They use Twitter as their way of making sure that their voice is undiluted by press or other people. You hear directly from them. I enjoy only that aspect of Twitter. For the most part, it's become a place that I look at, and I look at what people are sharing and how they're sharing it. And I eliminated how many accounts I followed down to like 10. And that's all the value I have found on Twitter, is those 10 people, those 10 things. And anytime I go outside those places, it seems like it's spewing mental garbage, is the way I view it. It's just distracting and not performative for me personally.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm also a little bit embarrassed to say that on my content side, all I really share on Twitter is just links to my existing content. Every now and again, I share a unique opinion on Twitter, but it's never anything revelatory. The microblogging platform, trying to say a lot with a little, it's just not my format. I like to say a lot with a lot.
So, and I think that's okay. There's only so much bandwidth. And yes, you can automate some of it. You can have somebody in your team do some of it for you. You can have an outside agency do it for you. Mm-hmm. And that, I always saw it as filler, unless you hire somebody that's extremely experienced, that really spends the time to get to know your voice and can mimic you very effectively online. The most engaging, the most relevant has to be done by you. And that's time consuming. That there has to be a payback. And if you don't think you're going to get that payback, you're probably not, you should concentrate on some other platform, shouldn't you?
Yeah. I will say that in terms of, there's a few things that I like about Twitter. I'm going to cover them very quickly with everybody. It is still a place that if you're producing original content and you have the time and the energy to have somebody who is an hashtag expert with the keyword research and the tools to analyze Twitter properly, it's yet another platform where organically you can actually gain a lot of new followers. It's not easy, which I think what John is alluding to. It requires focus, expertise, determination, all of those things. But could you do it? I know people who've created huge audiences out of nothing on Twitter.
Well, it's been a two-edged. I'm going to be totally frank with the audience, and you know a bit of this, probably don't know everything. Folks, I've benefited from Twitter and the relationship, but I've also, my other business has been damaged by Twitter. My other business, we were going to run a virtual conference. We had some of the biggest marketing names, and I had to cancel it at the last minute because there was a Twitter campaign run by some members of the WordPress community that do not like me, that have personal enmity against me, Robert. And they left it to the last week, and they made certain allegations against me that were grossly unfair. And these people don't have a lot of money, so there was no point in going for them legally. I did investigate it because they cost me a lot of money, and I had to cancel the virtual summit, and it caused me a lot of upset, which I had to just grit my teeth. And I've got to be honest, a couple of these people, if I ever meet them, I don't know how I'm going to control myself, because there's going to be words said. So there's a big WordPress event next month, and I've decided not to go to it because I know there's a good chance that I'm going to bump into a couple of these people. And if I bump into them, there's going to be a problem.
Sure.
So I don't want to get myself into that position. So it is a bit of a sewer, folks, Twitter. I'm sure the reason why I'm sharing this, folks, is that I'm sure that Meta are going to try and keep that toxicity of Twitter well away from the platform.
I don't disagree. So there is a lot of good and bad with every single social media platform. There's just some that are better than others. I personally subscribe very deeply to the creation. Social media for me has become, there are a few things. Event management, which makes social media just makes a million times easier than anything I've ever seen. And so to me, it's revolutionary still. And then and Twitter would do that too, flash mobbing, stuff like that. Like mass communication and organization is made possible like to an incredible degree by social media. Also, Facebook groups is something that I use not only for myself. We have people that we've interviewed on this show that use it. I use it. Other people that I know use it. Groups where you're containing a conversation, focusing it, and then adding contribution. Why Lopo uses it. Yeah. Everybody uses groups and Facebook, and you can privatize it. If there was a reason that I was to say Facebook should stay in business, it's because of their event and groups bit. Everything else, I wish we could scale it down by about 50 times in size, including Mark Zuckerberg's, influence and things like that. But unfortunately,
well, let's be frank. Before we go to our break, Rob, we're going to be talking about Instagram a bit in the second half, folks. But let's be frank about it. This is just my opinion. He isn't a great guy. He's got a notorious reputation. Everybody that's done business with him face to face really haven't got a decent word to say about him, and that's well known. I'm not saying anything that isn't part of the public record, and it's my opinion, and anybody can check it, can't they?
Yeah. So let's go to break. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to move the conversation over to comparing a little bit on Instagram and Threads. Now, mind you, I haven't looked at Threads, so I don't feel like I'm a subject matter expert. I'm not even a subject matter curiosity person. So what we're going to do is we're going to move. Anyway, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Can't wait to talk to you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's episode number 393. Today we are talking about Threads, and now we're going to move into a comparison between Threads and Instagram. Instagram is a platform that I love to hate. I actually do like Instagram a lot, even though it is a Facebook product. I like Instagram because it's incredibly viable and valuable in the real estate space. It's a place where I think that influencers really make a big impact on the world is through Instagram. It's a simpler platform. It's not as cluttered. It is a cleaner platform than Facebook. There's more tagging allowed with images. You can do up to 30 tags. Twitter, you can usually only fit 3. So in terms of the scale and reach of your organic marketing efforts, literally Instagram is like 10 times more relevant than Twitter. So, connected to a simpler content format where you're just doing images or video and that's all you see. So I have a different opinion about Instagram. It's still owned by Mark Zuckerberg, which breaks my heart. But
Yeah.
I actually have a lot of positive things to say about it, and I do know a tremendous amount of real estate agents that have either collected big audiences off the platform. Some of them have even turned that into ROI. There are many, many, many real estate people that swear by Instagram. It's relevant. That's
Yeah,
what I.
well, let's be frank, with Facebook, unless you utilize the group functionality, and a lot of people do, it's one of the saving graces of Facebook platform. Still has a very large audience. If you've got in, but the thing is, for a real estate agent, unless you're going to pay money, a Facebook page, basically, Mark and his they did the dirty on a lot of brands, a lot of major brands. They enticed them, a lot of big brands, a lot of professional high-end marketers spent a fortune building Facebook pages, and then the carpet was just pulled. The average page hardly gets any organic traffic. You literally have to get your wallet out to get any engagement or get your post, get a reasonable audience. It's paid to play. Instagram utilizing tagging. When it comes to threads, it's their first version of this. You can't do direct messaging, you can't tag, hashtag, and you can't do direct messaging yet. I'm pretty sure that they're going to introduce that pretty quick, but it's just been the growth of it. But they had, for all your opinions about Mark and the other major executive team, they do know social media, don't they? He's gone on a bender on the virtual world. I don't actually think that's going to play out. But, but when it comes to Instagram, I think you got like the main thing through Reels, they're really, and they have done it to an effective way. They've turned Reels to be a real competitor to TikTok and to YouTube Shorts, haven't they? Very effectively, haven't they?
Yes. So here's you covered a lot of ground there, and it's almost so much I can't even respond to all of it.
So, it was just a bleh, would it? Bleh.
Like you didn't really stay targeted or focused there.
No, well, that's me, isn't it? That's me. I can't be targeted.
I'll try to get respond to as many of those points as I can. So I'm going to say that in terms of who I think is going to win the virtual game, which is a little side comment that you brought, I think Apple's going to pave the way towards making it an everyday kind of product. And I think there's as yet unnamed people that are going to make a vast difference in the virtual world, such as content producers and things like that. I know people who are entrepreneurial, who are working in that space. They've been waiting for a better device than Oculus. It's upon us, I think. Apple joining the fray was a very, very big deal. So there's my opinion about that. In terms of what else did you say, John?
Well, it hasn't. I was saying that Reels has become a real competitor to TikTok and Shorts, and for everything you might feel about Mark and his team, they really know about social media, don't they?
I think that the only innovative thing that Mark Zuckerberg has attempted to do is taking a leadership role in virtual reality, and I think he shit the bed. I think he shit the bed with almost everything. I think that he's very good at seeing trends and either listening to people telling him that they are trends and then throwing Facebook's massive resources at those things and building something that works that is similar to something that already exists that we already know is popular. So do I think that he is a savvy guy that understands where the marketplace is going? I think that's his only skill.
Yeah.
It's the only demonstrable talent that I've seen Mark Zuckerberg have, is that he has followed along with what the marketplace is doing, and he's quick to identify what is likely to be a big trend. But did he create the trend? Did he come out of nowhere? No, he stole Facebook. Like it was an idea. He was like, oh, this is a good idea, but it wasn't new. It was like,
It was those twins. He got sued by those two twins, didn't he? I forgot their names.
Yeah.
And they succeeded, didn't they? They got a ton of money out of him.
It's the Winklevoss twins.
Yeah.
And they got they made billions. And now they are more innovators than Zuckerberg is. They were one of the very first people into crypto when it wasn't popular to be in crypto, and they put their name behind it long before it was popular. I mean, I'm talking like 5 to 10 years before it was popular. So the Winklevoss twins are more innovative than Zuckerberg is, in my opinion. So so I don't lay a lot of store. Zuckerberg might be one of those entrepreneurs that has a very long run before he does something that destroys his life completely. But I do think that's coming unless he really deeply changes himself as a person.
Well, just to comment quickly on that, it's just that the success might become a problem because they haven't released threads in Europe. They haven't done that yet. This organic growth is mostly the North American market, which is bonkers. We're talking close to 1 billion users, probably by the end of next week, right? But he hasn't, because if you sign up for it, the app, they haven't got a desktop product yet. You can't use your browser. You've got to have the app on the phone. I'm sure that will come. But if you sign up for it, you've got to agree to share literally all your private information. Literally, you're going to give everything to them. And that's why they haven't released it in Europe. And I don't know if they're going to or they're going to be allowed to, because, if this does become a major win for Meta, they're apart from, because Twitter's always been a small player, hasn't it? In these social platforms compared to YouTube or Meta, it's a small player in reality compared to Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. Mm-hmm. But their dominance, if it does be successful, which I think it probably will be, is going to be massive. They're going to have a massive share of the social media market. And I think that's going to cause problems.
Okay. Yeah, I do agree with that. And I'm going to add just a couple thoughts because I need to close out the podcast relatively on time. It's my birthday today, and I've got plans.
Oh, happy birthday, Rob!
Thank you. So,
what's it like to be 65?
Oh my God, I can't walk. I have to pee all the time. It's terrible.
Tell me. Poor Rob, I can tell he's had a busy day and he's had to put up with 30 minutes of my intense spew. He just kind of came out of my mouth like
I say this to everybody listening to the show. There's no doubt that there is some merit in being an early adopter in threads. If you're a real estate agent and you're thinking about, like, if you haven't already been an early adopter in something, I would say give it a wait, to use John's little turn of phrase, because you want other people figuring out the strategies and you don't want to spend the 50 hours unless you're a content producer like Jonathan and me, or that you're a subject matter expert like Travis, Tom, people like that. for us, it makes sense because then we can teach everybody. We get new audience members, new people that follow us, you know. But if you're just an agent, like selling real estate, I would absolutely be giving Threads a long way. Instagram is something you should have had years ago. And it is a place that you can repurpose content that you're creating on other channels like video and things like that. So to me, it's just a value add in every way, shape, and form.
I totally agree with you. If I was real estate, the two social media areas that you should focus on is YouTube and Instagram and Threads, as far as I'm concerned. I think a mixture of mixing the Instagram and Threads, you've got to be in it. And you've got to be into you, and you've got to be in video. But the great thing is, as we have hammered away for about over 3 years now, is the great news. You can turn your YouTube videos into shorts. You can turn them into reels. That you can repurpose them. You can put them on your website. You can put them on your business, Google business page. There's just a load, but really, social media for real estate agents, if you're going to get a return, it's either YouTube or Instagram, Threads, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up. We're cutting this show a little short. No bonus content because today is my birthday. This was the only work activity I scheduled for the day, John. So
nice.
Take that as what you will. Everything else got canceled or moved, but not this. So if you would like people to reach out to you, do you even have a Twitter profile? Oh, did you cancel your Twitter profile?
No, I've got a Twitter profile on MailRight, but I think the basic thing to do is go to the MailRight website, mail-right.com. and have a butchers around the website, and then book a chat with me or Adam, and we'll see if we're a good match. What's the best way for people to contact you, Robert?
Well, I'm not going to do the best way today. We've done it on other shows. Robert@inboundrem.com if you want to email. But guess what, everybody? Since we're talking about Twitter and Threads and things like that, I do have a Twitter profile. It's @inboundrem.com. So Twitter/inboundrem.com or @Twitter. I would love it if you guys would add me. I do use Twitter every now and again. My big social media push myself for the audience has been a revitalization of a private Facebook group I've had since I started Inbound REM, and I've got about 150 people in it, and I'm getting super, super active in the group. I'm posting almost every day. I'm enjoying the process. I actually find I have stuff to say to people that already know me. It's never been the case before. So anyway, that's it for me. John, is there anything that you would like to add?
I think they've had enough of me in this episode.
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I'm just saying, hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning us in to, like, today. I'm in birthday mode. John is in something mode. And we appreciate, though, regardless, we appreciate everybody who tunes in. I know it's one thing that John and I consistently agree on is we really appreciate our listeners and viewers. All right, everybody, have a good one.